Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to pass the flight attendant assessment day. If you're new here, my name is Bree. I'm a flight attendant in Australia. I post a lot of videos about the flight attendant life. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. But as I said, today I'm going to be talking about the assessment day. This is part 3 of my 5-part series that I'm doing about how to become a flight attendant. And this is video 3. So if you haven't watched my 2 other videos which talk about how to apply to become a flight attendant and also video and phone interviews, then definitely go check those videos out as well. I'll leave them linked down below for you. But as I said, today I'm going to be talking about the assessment day. This is probably one of the most asked questions that I get, questions about the assessment day. So I hope that this video is really helpful and informative for you, and that it can help prepare you for your flight attendant assessment day. I know that there's a lot of airlines right now that are hiring, and when lockdown ends eventually, I'm sure that the airlines will continue to hire because everyone's going to be wanting to travel once we can. So I've split this video up into 2 different parts. The first part, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened in my assessment day from the start to the finish of the day. And then the second part, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for your assessment day. So hope you enjoy this video. Let's get into it. So my assessment day was 3 to 4 years ago, so things might have changed, but I'm going to tell you exactly what happened on my assessment day in case there are some similarities in what they still do now. So when I got invited to my assessment day, there were certain times and days, so you kind of pick what day and time suits you. My assessment day was held at a hotel near the airport, and basically I arrived at the hotel and they got us all to wait in the lobby kind of area before they brought us into the assessment rooms. This was a time where I could mingle with some of the other applicants who were also going for their assessment day. And then when it was time to go into the assessment room, we all lined up, and as we entered they gave us a boarding pass, and on that boarding pass it told us what table to sit at. So we were all split up into different tables. There was about 5 tables, I would say. I remember there being like a pen and a little notebook on the table for each of us and some glasses of water. First of all, the facilitators and managers introduced themselves. So the people that were there were the recruitment people, the recruitment managers and things like that, and then also the crew managers, so people who manage the flight attendants and cabin crew. So they all introduced themselves and they shared what their role was. Then they took us through a brief overview of the job, so things like salary, expectations, job descriptions, requirements, things like that. And then the crew managers kind of told us a little bit of a day in the life of a cabin crew, what things we would have to do and things like that. I remember them telling us that we would have to clean the toilets on the aircraft and things like that. Yeah, they gave us a good little description. Then they asked the applicants, us, a few different questions to see who had researched the company, who knew about the company, who knew about the aircraft, to gauge who has done their research and who hasn't done their research and how much people wanted the role, essentially. Some of the questions that I asked were who is the current CEO, what flight routes do they do, what was their first ever flight route on the airline, what aircrafts they fly, how many years has the company been around, what was their first name, things like that, which are things that anyone going into a job interview should actually know about. So this way they're kind of seeing who is actually, done the work and done the research. Then they got us to introduce ourselves to the room. We had to stand up, say our name, where we're currently working, and a fun fact about us that wasn't written on our resume. Yeah, so we all did that, and then we moved on to the group activities. And to be honest, I can't remember how many group activities they had or if they just had this one, but I can only remember one group activity. The group activity that they did was, in our table groups, we got a list of tasks that a flight attendant would have to do, and we had to label those tasks from most important to least important. So there was things like someone wants a tea, or the bathrooms need to be cleaned, or there's someone has lost their phone in their seat, or there's a fire on board, things like that. So we had to label from most urgent and then least urgent. And we had a discussion on the table. And let me tell you a bit about what happened in that activity because I found it very interesting. So we started talking within our group and there was about 3 personalities that were quite dominant in the conversation. And halfway through the activity, the instructors actually called those people out of the room and they had to go to like the flight deck to talk to the captain. Then the rest of us continued to discuss those tasks and put them in orders. Then those people that went to the flight deck were called back to the group and we had to report to them on what the tasks we had chosen from most urgent to least urgent. Maybe I'll get more into this into the tips section, but all those people that got called out of the room to go to the flight deck, none of them got the job. Like, I didn't see any of them at training. So you don't want to be too overpowering and too dominating in those group assessments because it's not a good look. As a flight attendant, you need to be really good at teamwork and working with other people and, you know, things like that. So yeah, I found that quite interesting in that scenario. And then after those group assessments, we were called out of the room back into the lobby to wait for our one-on-one interview. My 4th video in this series is about the one-on-one interview, so definitely stick around. I will be posting that soon. After the one-on-one interview, then we were sent home basically, and then we would hear back about if we got the job or not from there. So I hope that gives you a bit of a rundown on what happened at the assessment day and hopefully prepares you in what might happen at your personal assessment day. As I said, it might change or different airlines do different things, but that's what happened to me personally. So now I'm going to get into tips and tricks on what to do in the assessment day, what to wear, what to say, things like that. Yeah, let's get into it. Before you even go to your assessment day, there's a few things that you need to do. First thing is to research the company. If you're applying for a job anywhere, the number one thing that you need to do is to research the company that you're applying for. This is really important because it shows the recruiters that you have done the work and that you're serious about this position. When they ask those questions to the group about, you know, who's the CEO and things like that, it's really important to be able to answer at least one of those questions, or at least try to answer one of those questions, because then it shows who actually has invested some time. Next thing to do is, if they've asked you to bring any paperwork, bring the paperwork and prepare that. So if that's your resume, if that's documents about RSA or first aid or anything like that, make sure you have those prepared for the day. The next thing is to arrive 30 minutes early. This will be great to meet some of the other applicants. They're all going to be nervous with you, so that can help calm your nerves. Talking to other people that are in the same boat as you and things like that, get to know them because they potentially could be your colleagues in the future as well. So yeah, get there 30 minutes early, and plus you never want to be late. Don't be late to an interview. That's like common knowledge. Make sure that you're always looking approachable and friendly. Those are really key elements of being a flight attendant. Make sure that you contribute in the group activities, but don't overpower other people. As I explained in that situation before, where those people got sent out of the room, and then I didn't see any of them at training. Obviously be yourself, but you don't want to be diminishing the other people in the group, if that makes sense. Make sure that you're showing teamwork skills within those group settings, and also leadership skills. Be happy and positive, that is always important. Make sure you're smiling a lot. Another thing is, remember the names of the recruiters when they introduce themselves. So if you get them for your one-on-one interview, you can remember their name and they will remember you because you remembered their name. So definitely do that. Show that you're passionate, that you're enthusiastic, and that you have a can-do attitude. And another tip is to be conscious of your body language and your posture, because 70 to 93% of your communication is non-verbal. And that kind of leads me on to what to wear during the assessment day. Personally, I wore some closed heel shoes, a grey skirt, a white blouse, and a black blazer. Wear whatever the airline that you're applying for wears. So if they wear a dress and a blazer, wear a dress and a blazer. If they have skirts and blazers, wear a skirt and a blazer. You can even wear like pant suits with blazer and a jacket. You just got to make sure that you're looking really professional. It's better in these circumstances to overdress than to underdress. To be honest, I was like contemplating even bringing my blazer, but I'm so glad that I did, because everyone there was wearing blazers and pencil skirts, and like they were like looking really professional. So yeah, make sure that you are presenting yourself very professionally, I would recommend putting your hair back, wearing really natural makeup, making sure your nails are done, wear nude or black stockings, make sure you're just wearing like one set of earrings and a watch. Don't be too overpowering with your jewelry. If you have tattoos, make sure that they're covered. If the airline wears lipstick, make sure you're wearing lipstick, either nude or red. And that's all the grooming tips for women. Let me talk quickly about men as well. Men, again, check what the crew wear in your airline. I would recommend wearing like pantsuits, a white shirt with a tie and a blazer. Make sure your shoes are polished. Make sure you've gotten a haircut like a couple days before so you're looking fresh. Some airlines allow like tinted moisturizers and things like that. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, pop some of that on. Make sure you don't have any piercings or tattoos shown. So those are my tips and tricks. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have any more questions about the assessment day, pop them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. I'm really responsive in my DMs on Instagram as well. So if you want to have a chat about the assessment day, or want to go more in depth into some things that I've said, definitely DM me there. We can chat about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time.